Thanks to our friend who supported the channel financially in the previous video. And before we start, don't forget to like, subscribe, and support the channel financially. Entering the forest, Ryu didn't look back. He didn't need to see to know who was following him. Thanks to his clairvoyance. Seeing Black Scythe entering the forest with another man, Shizukan tilted his head, and he asked himself, what's in there that he just went in without hesitation? Even though the forest was eerie enough to make anyone hesitate, Black Scythe entered as soon as he had a companion, as if he knew what was waiting inside. One inquired, "This seems suspicious. Should we follow?" Shizukan said, "Do you think we came all this way to turn back?" "Of course we're following." "Hey, punk!" The Korean player, who had been captured, looked at them with a scared expression. Shizukan said, "Why are you just standing there? Lead the way." He said, "Okay, this way," Shizukan said. "If you think of doing anything funny, you're dead. Got it?" He said, "Ike." "Yes." As the Korean player led the way, Shizukan's sneer pierced his back, and he said, "A man crying like a baby." Then one of his subordinates inquired, Mr. Shizukan, are you really planning to go up against Black Scythe? Isn't it dangerous?" Shizukan said, "Who do you think I am?" "I'm Shizukan, the leader of the underground." Originally, the plan was to keep the target a secret, but since he had a Korean guide, he had to reveal it. Of course, he kept the part about using his subordinates as bait hidden, mixing some truth with lies, and he said, "If I talk to him in Korean, he'll surely have to lower his guard. Then we can strike from behind." One said, "The plan is good, but Black Scythe is infamous." Shizukan said, "To catch a tiger, you have to enter the tiger's den. If you stay in the well, you'll never get out. A man should live in the big world, don't you think?" He said, "You're right." Shizukan said, "So shut up and trust me. If the plan works, we'll make a big haul." He said, "Understood. I trust you, boss." Having convinced his subordinates, Shizukan pursued Black Scythe with a sinister smile, unaware of who was following behind them. On the other hand, Heavenly Demon inquired, "Mr. An, are we going the right way?" The bodyguard replied, "Yes." Black Scythe went this way. In front of Heavenly Demon was a huge forest. It looked ominous, with a dark aura seeping out. Clearly a dangerous place. And he said, "So Black Scythe went in here." The bodyguard said, "According to our tracking skill, yes." Heavenly Demon said, "But did you see? It seemed like there were others who entered this forest too." The bodyguard said, "Yes, there seemed to be a group of about 10. They saw players entering the forest in a group. Whether they were allies or enemies was uncertain from the distance, but it was clear they hesitated before entering the forest." Then the bodyguard inquired, "Could there be others chasing Black Scythe?" Heavenly Demon said, "Considering his famous face and nickname, it wouldn't be strange for him to be pursued. And the problem was, we might encounter others while tracking him." Then he said to himself, "Are they like me, trying to get a piece of the action from Black Scythe? I would find out if I followed more closely, but if they're foreign players, I'll kill them if necessary." To prepare for such a situation, Heavenly Demon instructed Ansangkeol, and he said, "Mr. On, if we encounter foreign players, kill them if the opportunity arises." And Ansangkeol inquired, "What? Kill them?" Heavenly Demon replied, "They probably think the same as us. By the rules, we're enemies. The one who strikes first survives. Also, keep your presence detecting skill active, just in case." He said, "I understand." The two entered the forest of the labyrinth, unaware that it would be difficult to escape. On the other hand, Ryu said to himself, "In the forest of the labyrinth, there resides a boss called the Doppelganger. Its attack power is not that strong, but it's a troublesome opponent. Of course, only for those who are encountering it for the first time." However, Ryu had faced and killed the Doppelganger countless times. It was so weak that he didn't even need to remember how many times he had killed it. Ryu added, with the combo of Crimson Moon and Moonlight Slash, it's an easy target. But Ryu had no intention of killing the doppelganger himself, and he said to Ju Seong-tak, "You should be the one to kill the doppelganger." Ju Seong-tak inquired, "Me?" Then Ryu instructed Ju Seong-tak, who was following behind him, on the strategy to defeat the doppelganger. It was a simple strategy, so Ju Seong-tak could easily nod in agreement. Ryu said, "Got it? Just do as I said, and you'll capture it without any problems." Ju Seong-tak said, "Yes, don't worry. I won't disappoint you, Master." At that moment, a monster appeared before Ryu for the first time. It was a venomous slime, commonly found in the forest of the labyrinth. This was also a sign that they were getting closer to the doppelganger's habitat. Ryu said, "I'll handle this one since I'm giving up the boss." To gain even a little bit of points, Ryu stepped forward with his scythe. He cut it in half before it could spread its venom. Instead, the slime doubled in number. Ryu said, "As expected, physical attacks don't work, and the more you cut slimes, the more they multiply." Annoying as it was, Ryu had no choice but to use magic. Holding a scythe in one hand, he generated an electric current with the other. The slime that was directly hit by the electric current burned away without a trace. Slimes were immune to physical attacks but took critical damage from magic attacks. However, no message appeared for killing just one. It was only after killing both that he received any reward. "You have killed a venomous slime. EXP plus 0.09%, gold by 300, points 30. Ryu said to himself, "Even when they multiply, the experience doesn't. And if it were possible, I would have stayed in one spot, splitting slimes to milk the rewards endlessly." Then he said, "Let's go. We should be there soon." Ju Seong-tak said, "Yes, Master." While killing slimes, Ryu occasionally used his clairvoyance to monitor the pursuing group. The first group he checked on was the Chinese. Ryu said to himself, "They're all flustered since tracking and detecting skills don't work here." In fact, once inside the labyrinth, all connections to the outside world are cut off. "And if you take the wrong path, all signals will be lost," Ryu added. "Looks like they lost the Korean guide and now they're stuck. As if you're not within 5 meters of each other, you can quickly become separated. And since all paths are connected like a cube, you might meet again, but it could take a long time." Ryu said to himself, "I need to remember their location. I might need the Chinese's help to catch the doppelganger." Smirking, Ryu shifted his perspective, and it wasn't just the Chinese who were lost and confused. Ma Kyung-rok's group was in the same situation, and An Sang-cheo looked panicked after entering to track Black Scythe, only to lose the signal. Ryu said to himself, "You shouldn't follow blindly into unknown places." Despite chiding them, Ryu smiled, satisfied that everything was going according to plan. And he said, "But I wonder if Christine is okay." He checked and saw that she was still at the initial location, waiting for the others. As a result, her group of 2 had grown to 10. Ryu said, "She seems to think more people mean more safety, but it's useless. The Church of Despair will gather that many forces too." From the perspective of John Delgado, it was clear. He had decided to kill Christine. And while Christine waits for her followers, he gathers his cultists to ambush them. But that would be Ryu's cue to step in, as intervening in a non-threatening situation wouldn't provide a good pretext and would make him look crazy. Ryu said, "But first, we need to deal with the doppelganger and get out of here." But suddenly, a thin, high-pitched voice called from beyond the forest. "Is anyone there? Please help!" Following the sound, they found a woman leaning against a tree, gasping for breath. Seeing Ryu and Ju Seong-tak, the woman brightened, and she said, "Thanks God, I'm saved. I'm not the only one here." The women added, "Excuse me, can you help me? I can't get up. I hurt my ankle." Ryu inquired. "What happened?" she replied. "I was attacked by a slime. My foot hurts so much I can't move." Ryu said, Looks like you can't move." She cried and said, "It hurts so much." Coldly, Ryu inquired, "What do you want me to do?" Sensing Ryu's indifferent response, the woman became desperate and said, "Please, help me get out of here. I'll do anything. Please." Ryu inquired, "Anything?" She replied, "Yes, anything. I'm embarrassed to say, but if you have desires, I can satisfy them." Ryu said, "No need for that. Can you give me all your items?" She said, "Items? Of course." The woman opened her inventory and pulled out some items. There were a few unique materials and a high-grade magic stone. She said, I'll give you these for now. I'll give you the rest once I'm saved. How about that? Ryo said, fine. Though he agreed, Ryo didn't even look at the items. He simply approached her with his scythe. The women inquired, "What are you?" And before she could react, he beheaded her, and her head, with a shocked expression, rolled on the ground. Though it was a sudden killing, Ju Song-tak remained unfazed, as Ryu had already briefed him that the doppelganger steals the appearance and memories of those it kills to deceive other humans in the labyrinth. It usually pretends to be a slime victim asking for help, then kills you once possessed. Having heard this beforehand, Ju Seong-tak immediately realized the woman was the boss, the doppelganger. Her body disintegrated into powder and vanished, and black smoke rose from the spot where the body had disappeared, forming a human shape. The creature inquired, "How did you know? My disguise was perfect."